with the same fucking name. Or you start wrong. Let's pay. Finish yourself out. Good night. Good luck on your stream.
Thanks. What's up, guys? My name's Richard Terrell. I go by Kirby Kid, and you are watching DO Live. We do a daily stream every day about game design, but for the next 3 weeks, we're doing Smash, so get used to it. We got a lot of topics to cover, and we got to take them one by one, because each of these topics are pretty much a big deal. They require a lot of explaining, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that at the start of each one of these videos, I hit the topic, all the major points, and then I'm just going to blab for the rest of however I feel like. So if you're skimming through on YouTube and you just see a topic you think is interesting, watch the first few minutes and then move on. So today I want to cover, what is this? Here's our list. 20 years of Smash. I kind of want to just talk about the general problems, issues, design facets of Smash that I always look at when a new Smash game comes out, and I like worry about before the game comes out, and I argue about and I talk about. And they kind of like, they're kind of good ways to get a little bit of a better understanding of what Sakurai's design philosophy is in the first place. There's plenty of interviews. Source Gaming collects a ton of interviews translated from Japanese from Masahiro Sakurai. There is a excellent Iwata Ask on Kid Icarus Uprising, in which he touches on Super Smash Brothers. Just wonderful interview series there. And I'll show you another link for this. But there's a lot of information out there, so we're gonna get a little bit of a closer idea of what Sakurai does, what he thinks as a designer, and how that affected pretty much the last 20 years of my life through his design decisions making Super Smash Brothers games. So let me just, if you are really curious about Kid Icarus Uprising and why it's one of my favorite games of all time, there is right here a review series in which I did, it's like 10 parts, right, all focused on Kid Icarus. And right here, I'll zoom in. The last part or so, I talk about design philosophies, and I compare Shigeru Miyamoto with Masahiro Sakurai. Miyamoto created Mario, Zelda, Pikmin. Sakurai created Kirby, Smash Brothers, and Kid Icarus. So like, here are the cool logos, and these two game styles, their two design styles are very different. Everybody's got their own style. I go over it a bit more in detail here, and contrasting with Miyamoto's pretty cool, and I take quotes from the interviews. So it's just a really cool way to end that review series. So I know a lot about what Sakurai says and how he thinks. I'm not just making this up, but hopefully I'll remember correctly. That's all I can promise you. So when new Smashes come out, Sakurai, he's had history playing competitive fighting games. He played Street Fighter, as far as I can tell, or some fighting game to a pretty high competitive level. He played in tournaments. So he basically was able to create Smash Brothers, a fighting game, by doing his research. Not only is this guy incredibly studious, right? He writes and he researches and he thinks deeply about design, but he actually goes hands-on to get a lot of what he understands about the thing in the first place. So many developers out there that have not done their due diligence actually playing games and rather just talk about them and make them for some reason. But that's a whole nother issue. Getting hands-on and having that experience, he was able to put what he considered to be the tactical core into Smash Brothers from the very beginning. And that's why everything about the way the moves work, like quick tilts, quicker jabs, stronger smashes, the risk-reward of this and that, like rolling, he learned that. And he figured it out by playing competitively with fighting games. So he's not a stranger to competitive play, but he also likes a lot of other things, right? As many people are complex, and so when you make a design, it oftentimes reflects many different parts of yourself. And he likes simple controls. He likes sort of random, serendipitous, crazy happenings. He likes things coming together in a simple way, but to produce really interesting, crazy, explosive, over-the-top results. You can see a lot of these philosophies when he made Kirby's Air Ride, Meteos, and he made some Kirby games, and now Smash Brothers, and even Kid Icarus Uprising. So he pretty much exudes the same principles, which is really interesting because I don't think the guy likes sequels very much. He doesn't really like working on the same project if he can help it. And I think begrudgingly or secretly or whatever, He was brought back on to work on Brawl. And I think every Smash really after Melee is just like, will he come back? And one way or another, Nintendo's found a way to get him to come back and work on these projects. So looking at his games over time is really interesting because he was able to get to the core of Smash right with Smash 64, but then he refined it, he extended it, he experimented with a few things, and then he had to rein in a lot of those design decisions. He learned from some things, he moved away from certain philosophies, and it just kind of reflects his changing sentiments over time. Who knows how much the actual fan base and metagame of Smash has influenced him. Who knows how much he actually pays attention to how we play or why we play the way we do. Like, I don't know. I wish I knew a lot more about what he thought, but we're just going to have to base everything on what we see. So when I see a new Smash game, I'm thinking, okay, the way he treats the ledge is really interesting. Sakurai overall likes to create these systems where they don't decay. He wanted the primary sort of dynamic numerical element in the game to be damage. That's why he created the entire cumulative damage system. But he doesn't really want other things to decay if he can help it. So previously in Smash, rolling, it was always the same frame data. Air dodging, you get the same invincibility data. And he didn't want to play around too much with that on various things. But over time, he's softened on that. Kid Icarus Uprising has a decaying dodge system. Smash 4 has a less invincibility time when you hang on the ledge, and if you grab it again, you have none. And if you get hit, you still have less depending on how high damage you are and how much airtime. It can get pretty complicated, but sort of fine-tuning these values and trying to stick with a simplistic and non-changing elements, like having your game emerge out of these non-changing elements, was something that I don't think he's able to maintain as he realizes, oh, Smashers are really, really dedicated to playing to win, and sometimes they'll just hog the ledge forever to milk invincibility. Sometimes they'll run away forever. So that extreme level of play is something that he's, over time, changed some of his core sort of design styles to sort of fix these issues. Balance is a big topic. It kind of covers a lot of things that we're talking about. Shield's defensive, ledge is recovering, evasiveness in general covers rolls and air dodges. How he teaches Smash has always been interesting. Ever since Smash 64, he's had basically a Smash dojo, even though we didn't get it here in the States. So there was a Japanese version that had tips. Then with Brawl, he went way overboard. Not really overboard, but he outdid himself. Made the website, the Smash Dojo, and had updates almost every day, which was one of the best ways to start my mornings ever. And then with Smash 4, he had a different kind of website, different way to present information, and now with Smash Ultimate, Nintendo Versus is basically taking that kind of bit-by-bit content and putting it out in tweets, which is kind of neat, instead of mini blog posts. But essentially, Sakurai wants people to play Smash however they think is interesting. He obviously makes a ton of modes for different types of players, and he knows that competitive players exist. As far as telling us how to play, like many developers, he's very hands-off. He wants to show us that things are possible, but he doesn't want to tell us, you're playing the matchup wrong. Why aren't you using this thing I made you? That. I don't know how many developers are actually that intrusive into the actual way players play. But observing how he talks about his own game and the details he highlights, there's something really curious and interesting about Smash 64 over the years. I'm going to try to find a YouTube video. Smash 64 Japanese commercial. And hopefully this won't get flagged up on when I put it on YouTube, because it's really annoying when they do that. Let's try this one. Let's just hope it doesn't. And let's just keep the sound off, because we don't need sound. So hopefully it's not too choppy for you guys. Get this out of here. And low resolution, because that's just how it was. It's not the commercial I wanted, but there was an interesting... Stop. Japanese Smash commercial in which they show like little clips back to back, kind of like what you saw there. But there was one interesting thing they showed in the commercial, and it was a fox shooting a laser, and then they showed it bouncing off. Maybe it's in the English commercial. They showed it bouncing off the shields when they were playing on Yoshi's Story, I believe, which is like a really nuanced element of Smash that I guess has been in there since Smash 64, but not directly reflecting like in Melee, or not like Fox's reflector, but bouncing things off at an angle. And it's little details like that. Let's see if it's in this commercial. No.
I love this commercial.
It's funny how the American commercial was a lot like the Japanese, but instead we had people in costumes and they beat each other up, and the Japanese pointed into the sky and and enjoyed a much different kind of presentation. But what I'm trying to say is Sakurai loves details, and he loves interesting things about Smash and little quirks that happen and crazy things, and he points them out in his commercials. And if you've noticed the quality of how Smash Brothers is presented in these videos, just super unlike any other game, right? Like they show characters and their expressiveness, they show characters hurt, tumbled upside down, like funny jokes like the Falco running up to the food item, and when he gets to the cooked chicken dinner, he just like rages and taunts and things like that. Like there's a level of detail and comedy and even systemic nuances, stuff like this, where this is always how Smash has been presented. And I can't help but think that Sakurai has a major influence on how Smash is presented, because it's been consistent for 20 years, and I don't know who would be working with Smash Brothers and not be Sakurai for 20 years. I don't know if there's like some random worker, but Sakurai loves details, and it's a reason why when he makes these characters, they're so true to the original game series, and it's a reason why things like Z canceling and L canceling and pairing existed even in Melee and Brawl. Even though nobody used it, he continues to put these things in the game because he thinks they're interesting, and even when the most competitive players don't use it, that's just what he likes doing. So a lot of times people think, oh, Sakurai clearly did this because he hates the competitive community. He clearly did this because he saw blah, blah, blah. Like, he's going to do whatever he wants. And if you look at his past design and his future design, you realize he's a lot more stable than you might think. And he's just shifting within himself in order to keep the game fresh and to potentially address these problems. So, yeah, the ledge was a huge problem. I think it's a problem in Melee. I also think it's a bigger problem in Brawl. Finally, it's really excellently designed in Smash 4 with all the new rules you had to add, but as much as I would like an elegant ledge system, low complexity works for me. Yeah, defensiveness in general. I guess I should say movement. So I'm going to flick over to this. So yeah, I'm going to be detailing all 60-something characters, just interesting things I think and have noticed over the years and hope for the new Smash. But I'm not going to start today because I need to make some cool infographics while I do it. So the last thing I just kind of want to settle on before closing the stream is that a lot of these issues, like evasiveness, defensiveness, movement, balance, they're tied to the same sort of few basic systems of Smash, and essentially having the freedom to move around introduces a whole lot of problems that other fighters really haven't had to deal with. I'm gonna be Sonic, why not? But yeah, like, so running away is a problem in a lot of competitive games, and Street Fighter, they have corners and you walk backwards more slowly than you walk forward, so you can slowly walk people into corners and they have a hard time getting out. But a lot of things in Smash are a lot harder to see working so clearly because, like we said in the last video, Smash is so complex. and there's a lot of different areas in which you can sort of escape. So, you know, you can try to pressure someone in the corner, but they might jump up on this platform. You can try to pressure someone on the ledge, and right when the platform goes over to the left, they just jump back like that, and then they get over here, so on and so forth, right? There's so many different ways to play and areas to be, and it's all pretty much because your characters can move freely and, like, do whatever they want. I'm not sure why the stream frame rate is low. Maybe I have to adjust the audio real quick. Audio. There we go. It looks a little better. Cool. Yeah, so movement is a big deal in Smash. Your movement is not tied to your opponent whatsoever. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. Jumping on platforms. I think Smash is like the most popular game series ever that has one-way platforms. One-way platforms aren't too popular in platformers, but they work so well in Smash. And just, we'll click this here. We click that one topic, and now I just want to talk briefly about how Smash is an analog fighter. So Street Fighter can be played on a digital D-pad. You know, you move left, right, up, down. You don't move up, down, but you jump, and everything's discrete and digital. Your character pretty much moves forward at a constant speed. You don't have like slowly walking into your acceleration. Your moves are crisp and discrete, and everything's sort of punchy and clear like that. Smash Brothers is the opposite from the very core. One of my favorite things about Smash Brothers, I'll show you here. Where is it? You know, the different degrees of analog control, like the very micro walk. Can I even do it? It's just really funny watching that animation. And you can do that really slowly. You can also crank up the speed just a little bit. And then you can crank it up even higher. And then when you go past a certain threshold, the animation changes. And then he kind of closes his fist. Get out of here, DDD. There we go. And then he kind of walks, and then he gets he closes his fist entirely, and he's on a full walking speed. And when you dash, you know, a different animation altogether. But smoothly transitioning in between these states is something that a lot of high-level players don't do. We made a video for a technique called slow running, and essentially it allows you to go basically from a full run into different Smash attacks, just like in Smash Ultimate. But guess what? Nobody wants to use it, so too bad. I don't want to hear it. Sure, Smash Ultimate looks like it's a lot easier to input, and it looks like it's roughly 7 frames faster, but you know, Smash Ultimate overall looks like it's sped up compared to Smash 4. So being 7 frames slower with the slow run technique isn't that big of a deal. But people, like, you can run with Sonic. Sonic has one of the best skid stops anyway, just like letting go of the controller like that and then doing whatever you want. So I'm surprised nobody wanted to do any of their neutral in Smash Wii U. Just like running up to people and freaking doing a down smash or a tilt. It's not that much slower. You don't have to do everything into a jumping air because you can't control yourself, and shield stopping is too slow. But you can see more details on that if you're interested. Slow run, there's a video on my Kirby Kid channel. I'll probably put it down in the description so I don't forget. I'll just do this. YouTube slow run Smash tech of the week. I'll just drag it over here so you guys can watch it for just a split second. Hey, tech of the week. And we demonstrated that. Yeah, right here. So yeah, the shields stop in the slow run skid stop, a perfect slow run skid stop. Not only is Smash an analog game in terms of how you move your character on the ground, but even stuff like this where you're trying to shave off frames and make your character control as precise as possible has degrees, right? So you don't just get a slow run technique, you can get a perfect slow run by perfectly easing in on your control stick. So as you can see here, Mario, 10 frames, right? He slow runs, skid stops perfectly in 10 frames and is able to go into his grounded attack. That's not slow. 10 frames is pretty fast, considering Mario's forward smash comes out in 15 frames. And Luigi's a little bit more slow, but he's Luigi, so we don't really care about him. But essentially, Smash is analog in a lot of different aspects than just walking on the ground. In the air, what is stream only? Cool. In the air, you can smoothly go backwards or forward and slightly press it. You can slightly make your character go just a little bit forward. Get out of my way. Just a little bit forward if you want. Or you can go a lot of bit forward or clearly jump over DDD. Like, you have all this control, which makes your attacks even more like precise. There's some cool combos where let me just jack DDD up, right? And I think this precision, both in the air and on the ground, is what makes a lot of these Smash moves so interesting to use in their by themselves. Like, you don't need a whole bunch of moves to make Smash interesting. One move. One of my favorite moves is Sonic's up air. If you hit just the tip of his feet, it moves the enemy like across over your head. But if you move him a little closer, he moves more upward. And if you hit him directly in the center, he goes straight up. So like, you can control where you want him to be depending on how much control you have on your up air. And then you can do stuff like up air, rising up air to jump up air into uppy up air. Like, that's fun. And the combo 5, you see that in the corner? So, you know, depending on, I mean, DI is a thing, but this is just super fun to realize that your attack's like omnidirectional. You can do it. And even when you air dodge, you're like, oh, am I too close? Am I too far away? I'll just slightly air control a little bit back. Let's see if I can do it. Yeah, like just slightly air control towards DDD. That's constantly happening, and that's what makes Smash so interesting. Controlling, so the fact that you have that much analog control, I think, is what is the core of Smash. Looking at your animations carefully and then picking exactly where you want your character to be and making it happen, whether you're on the air or on the ground. In the next video, we're going to talk about something called like analog control versus course control. And I think things like wave dashing and rolling are good examples of course control, where you just, like Street Fighter, just a discrete preset, almost preset distance. I know wave dashing has tons of variations, but just work with me. So there's a difference in Smash between playing with these hard, discrete movements and like dash up shield and stuff like that versus just like walking. Walking is so hard to do in Smash 4, but walking is pretty important. Just putting your character in the right places and carefully controlling them by DDD. It's something we'll take a look at and how it's different on all the different Smash games and how that changes the balance of the game, how it changes the look and feel, how it changes the feedback and how hard it is for the camera to keep track of things, what the proper zoom level is, and all these other factors that affect just about every other aspect of design. So that's all I'm going to do for this video, just knowing that I look for these different things in Smash. A lot of it's tied to movement. Sakurai definitely has its own style and its fingerprint. And as you trace the decisions made over little things like how your character moves and how quickly your character can stop over time, you'll get to see more and more of what I consider to be the core of Smash. It's not just one game, right? I played every single Smash game. I've been playing Smash since day 164. I played them all competitively. So it's not just one game that I feel like is the core of Smash. It's something that's shared among all of them. But we'll get to more of that later. Thanks for joining me on the stream. Will be another one tomorrow. More Smash topics. Tell your friends. Until next time, see you guys.